Alright, so I'm here with Moose. She's on the short line with me right now. You can't see her because there are some things I wanted to talk about here. So we've switched, making sure that wasn't a tick. You notice she's not dragging me around right now. And hopefully not. So we've changed some things up for Moose. She doesn't care as much about following as other dogs. That means she's a independent, strong woman, which we like. But it makes it harder on the training. So if you're using this as not only the slip lead, but the training with the long line, it gives an adequate correction, but they're going to be all the way at the end of the long line. And of course you're trying to phase that out, and it's the correction is simply done by the trainer or handler's body moving one way while the dog moves the other way. So that's the only way to get a correction in, if your dog's not listening to you. So that set us up. We did that on week 1. For week 2, but it was looking like it was going to take at least another week's time doing that exercise to get her to where I ideally want her to be on week 2. So now we've switched it up to an electronic collar, and there's on my blog there's information on electronic collar, so I'm not going to get into all of that except to say that the benefit of an electronic collar is I can actually control when the corrections come in the moment she's away from me at all. And I can do those low. When she's responding, I can do them high. The thing with corrections is the thing with training is you want corrections and rewards to become mostly extinct for the purposes of communicating with your dog. So the reason why we use training tools and corrections and rewards is to offset the balance that we are just not as physically capable as our canine partners are if they really want to do something. And because of that, we often need things to offset the balance. The chain collar also, there's no getting around it. It tightens up on the neck, which is usually not a problem for dogs. But the electronic collar does not do that. So if you have a dog that has any neck or back issues, it's a good training tool for that. Also better timing. I like the manual collar, so I'm just going over the pros and cons now. I like the manual collars because if you're doing it right, that's a great way to get really good solid training without having to rely on a tool that makes it easier for you. And the reason that can be good sometimes, if you have the time to do it, that's the negative. The reason that can be good sometimes is you fill in a lot of holes in your training plan, and you end up having much better training, especially if you don't know what you're doing and you don't know how to look for those holes. So it makes it easier, basically. But the bad part to making it easier is people think their dogs are a lot well trained when they go out in public than they actually are, and they take their dog out one day in public and they don't have the equipment on, nor have they been working with the dog very much, and disaster ensues because they were not prepared for that, the humans. And the dogs do realize the collar's not on them, especially if it hasn't been used that much, and woohoo, it's party day for them, which can be, in certain situations, be very dangerous for all involved. Just in terms of a dog knocking people over or scratching people, just in those benign terms, it can be a dangerous situation. Never mind if your dog has any sort of aggression or reactiveness towards other dogs, and does not listen well to an owner's commands on the walk, and therefore makes their own decisions. So that's my spiel about that. Now we're going to work Moose, which is going to be a much more longer, boring video. than this one. So we'll get to it.